All right, we're back. This is Fiverr Talks. My name is Joel, and today we're talking about what it means to succeed on Fiverr and how you can get there. That's right, this is the number one question that all of you ask me all the time. How do I find success on Fiverr? And it's something that I have never really tackled or answered because it's such a broad question. It's so big, it's so huge. How do we know what success is? How do we get there? How do we tailor that answer for each and every individual? And the answer is you can't. That's why I've never answered this question here on the channel before. So today, what I thought I would do is I would talk about your path to success. How do you find success? And maybe more importantly, how do you define success? We're going to talk about 4 things to help you find your path to success, because I truly believe without these, no one will ever find success. It doesn't matter how much you do on the platform, how many sales you have, what your rating is. If you don't know what success is, you'll never find it. If you don't know what the target is, you'll never hit it. So let's dive into my 4 key factors to finding your path for success. The first one is be as successful as you can be with what you have. Now, we all know that not everybody starts on equal footing. It depends on who you are, where you were born, sometimes what resources you were born with, what kind of family you were born into. Everybody has inherent skills and abilities, but they also have inbuilt resources in their lives. You may have access to more connection, more networking, more equipment than somebody over here does. And it's very important to realize that that will affect how successful you can be in the beginning, not in the long run, but in the beginning, what you have in your hands. So I always say, be as successful as you can be with what you have now until what you have now changes. You see, what you have is constantly evolving. What you have in your hands is constantly changing. Things will constantly be coming in and going out of your life. New things come in, old things go out. And when you have new resources, you can redefine or rechart a path for success. You know, when I started, all I had was an old laptop and an old piece of gear, this microphone right there. It's about 15 years old right now. There you go, you can see it. But I had those 2 things. That's all I had to start with. And I started where I was using those 2 things. Then, when those 2 things brought me to another level, I was able to say, what new do I have in my hands, and redefine success based on what I had. Not everybody starts where I started. Some people start with more, some people start with less, but I was able to define where I was and what success would look like with what I had before I started, so that I knew when I got to that next level, I could redefine things. So don't be too hard on yourself. Be as successful as you can with what you have right now, and worry about the next step when the next step comes. All right, the second key to finding your path to success is not letting other people's success convince you that you can't be successful. I had this conversation in one of our Q&A videos last Friday. Someone said, the field that I want to get into, the skill I want to learn is just saturated. There's 90,000 plus gigs in this category. How do I break into it? How do I get to where I'm even competitive when 90,000 people already exist there? And my answer is, that's a great thing. You see, if there's 90,000 people in that category, that means there's a lot of buyers coming and looking for that service. A lot of time, popularity means that there's a great demand for that service. So there's an opportunity for you to break into it. More competition means a larger pool of buyers. But when I started on Fiverr, there was a much smaller pool of buyers. A lot of people say, hey, 10 years ago, it was easier to break into things when things were new. But the truth is, a lot less sellers and a lot less buyers. We had to convince people that this internet thing, this freelancer thing, this gig economy was real, and we wouldn't run off with their money, or that we really did know what we were doing. It was much harder to convince people to buy than it is today. You have the advantage of a decade of experience, of Fiverr's experience, and now you get to launch off of that. Even though there's more competition, there's more buyers out there. And don't let that get you down. Far too often we fall into the trap of comparison by comparing ourselves to other people where they are, their level of success, whatever it is, and saying, I'll never be as successful as them, so I might not even try. Or because they're successful at what I want to do, I couldn't ever be successful at it. And that's just not true. You cannot be blinded by other people's success, and you have to realize that you can succeed while other people are succeeding, which means you need to learn to be happy for other people that do well. Don't squint your eyes at people that are succeeding and think, I wish you would fall so I can rise up. The truth is, two people can succeed at the same thing at the same time in different ways because we're all individuals. We all have something a little different to offer. And in order to find your path to success, you need to realize that. The third key to finding your path to success is grow at your own speed and let the market lead. No, I didn't rhyme those on purpose. They just happened to rhyme, but grow at your own speed. Some people grow things fast. Some people had a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of spunk to put into something to give it the energy to grow fast. While others are going to need to take things slowly. Maybe you have a 9 to 5 and this is just a side hustle and you can only invest an hour a day. Whatever it is, realize that your situation is going to dictate a certain speed at which your thing, your path can move. The speed with which you move down your path to success is determined by all the other factors that surround you, and there's nothing right or wrong about that. What you need to do is get comfortable with where you are and what you're able to do and how that affects the speed with which you travel down your path. Some people take years to get where other people got in just months, and that's okay. We're all different. But if you stop, take just a minute and define what success looks like for you, you'll know when you get there, no matter how fast or how slow you got there. Remember, just because something happens slowly doesn't mean it's wrong. Just because something happens quickly doesn't mean that it's right. Everybody has a different path and a different speed at which they're going to find success because not everybody's aiming at the same target, which is really kind of sub point 3 here. You need to stop and define success for yourself so that you know when you get there. Know that it's also constantly evolving, like the resources coming in and out of your life. Success is constantly evolving. You can say to yourself, here's what success looks like now, and when we get there, we'll redefine it, and maybe it's over here. But until you get there, only worry about that next step, because everybody's going to grow at their own speed. And the fourth and final key to finding success, whether it be on Fiverr, freelancing, or maybe even just life in general, is you need to learn to discern. There are so many times when we need to learn when to quit, when to give something up, and know better than when to quit. Know when we should keep at something, even though it's difficult, even though it's a grind, even though it's been tough. It's been a hard week, month, year, couple years. Know when something's working slowly and when something's just not working at all. You need to learn to discern between good times and bad, something that's growing slowly or something that's failing. You need to know when to quit or when to pivot. Be adaptable. Be able to change when you need to. I owe a lot of the success that I've been able to find in my career to pivoting on an axis, knowing that here's where I am, but if I turn 180 degrees this way, I'm going to find a whole new world of customers, clients. If I just tilt my services slightly, I can find something new and exciting. Learn when to quit, learn when to pivot, know when to adapt. And if you do all those things, you'll find that you grow your muscle of discernment as a business owner, as a freelancer, knowing when things are for you and when they're not, when there's road blockages and when there's just a staircase to climb. They're different, and we need to learn to discern the difference so that we can get to the other side of that obstacle. I hope you don't mind that today's video was a little more motivational in nature than practical. I think we have to mix all of these things in here together because if we're going to succeed on a platform like Fiverr, we can't just have practical all the time because as I was reminded this last week, there are sometimes weeks that just aren't what you want them to be. They're just not good for any good reason at all. You did everything right and they still kind of drag on or don't perform the way you want them to, and we need that motivation to get to the other side. So in closing, just keep in mind that success is not a destination. It's a journey, baby. You're going to get there when you get there if you define it for yourself and know what you're aiming at. Make sure that you're going in the right direction for you, not for somebody else, not comparing yourself to others or the speed at which they do things or the way they do things. Make sure that you're finding your own success so that when you get there, you can enjoy it. You can revel in it. You can actually be proud of what you've accomplished because you knew you accomplished something by setting a goal to start with. Hey, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed this content, please give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below. You can subscribe for more videos right over there, and there's actually a playlist of videos right there that would really be great for you if you're looking for more tips on how to become a top-rated seller on Fiverr. So until next time, keep doing, because the future favors the doers.